I'm a certified sex coach and licensed therapist specializing in relationships, LGBT and all things kinky. Ask me anything. Hi everyone. I'm Carlos, a certified sex coach and licensed therapist. I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in counseling, and have continued my education in sexuality. I help people with their relationships, communication, sex life and LGBTQ+ concerns. I also speak on the topics I specialize in on my YouTube channel Ask Carlos and at workshops. Ask me anything. Nothing is off limits. What is the most bizarre kink or fetish that you have come across in your time as a therapist? Ooh, that is a tough one. After hearing so many, you get a better understanding as to why they get people off. This makes them not as bizarre as they once were, if that makes sense. But I would say diaper fetish is still one that always fascinates me. I really should make a video about it. Thanks for the question. Yes, that one makes me cringe with curiosity. Why it's such a common fetish? The one that probably confuses me the most is people who have sexual relations with inanimate objects. I have some personal possessions that I love, and I'm proud to own. But to be turned on by that object enough to attempt intercourse with it is another thing altogether. Lol. Hahaha. Most of the time is the ooh, I'm so naughty thought that makes it exciting. I'm going to put this remote inside me cause I'm so bad. I'm going to bang that watermelon cause I'm so freaky. What advice could you give to a couple with different levels of libido, compromise and lots of foreplay? First, have an open and honest discussion about each other's needs. Sex is something that is needed not just for yourself, but for a healthy relationship. It bonds people together and increases relationship satisfaction. Stress the importance of it and put yourself on a team. I really value our relationship and sex is a big part of relationships. I want to make sure we are getting our needs met and that we both feel fulfilled. How can we work on improving our sex life? When there are different libido levels you might have to schedule playtime. That might not seem hot, but if you can agree to have sex at least once a week, or whatever, your minds and bodies will adjust. It will also decrease the chances of going months without sex. Now foreplay is really important. Make sure you have at the very least 30 minutes of foreplay. This can be everything from flirting, to oral, to role play, or even some dirty talk. The more you warm up the better. Especially if a woman is part of this equation as it takes them longer to really get going than men. Talk about fantasies and discuss which you would like to try. Switch things up. Get that excitement going again. Maybe even get daring. Surprise your partner with a quickie somewhere. Tell them how sexy they are. Do everything you did when you were first trying to get them in bed. So is lesbian bed death a real phenomenon, or is it lore? Asking for a friend. That's so funny. I was literally just talking about this with a colleague not too long ago. The thing is that this type of thing happens to all couples, regardless of orientation. The longer you are together the easier it can be to let the hot sex go. I always urge my clients to make sure to have some sort of sexual activity at the very least every 3 weeks. It really is a use it or lose it situation. The more committed you are to your sex life, the more likely you are to avoid the lesbian deathbed and enjoy a lesbian hotbed. Hi Carlos. My fiance and I enjoy kinky sex, but sometimes I'm in the mood for certain things and sometimes I'm not. For example, sometimes I want to be slapped during sex and other times I don't like it if he slaps me, just depending on my mood. What is a good way to signal to him when I'm ready for this kind of sex and when I'm not? That is a discussion you have to have before doing the nasty. Have a talk about it before you have sex. You might bring it up during foreplay dirty talk. I'm so bad I might need a slapping or something of the sort. This will keep the mood going while signaling that you are down for it that instance. You might also specifically ask for it during sex or set it up to where he can only do it if he asks during sex. Like I think you might need a good little slapping. If you say yes, baby, I need it, then he can proceed. If you don't, you can respond with what I really need is for you to keep pounding me, or what I need is a good hair pulling etc. I would really encourage you to talk about setting up a safe word. I really enjoy slapping during sex every now and then, but I want to make sure we set some safe words so I feel more comfortable. Use one for slow down and one for stop. Do you think an asexual and sexual person can make it work? My girlfriend is asexual and it's been causing so much strain. We know the other can't change, so we are at a crossroads now. It can work, but there will have to be some type of compromise on both ends. What that compromise is depends on both of you. Get together and discuss not how we can make this work, but what can we do to make this work. What can we do to get both of our needs met? Any recommendations for a married couple that needs to spice things up? We both love doing the deed, but it's become a bit routine and are looking to change things up. I go into detail there, but there is this great exercise I recommend for couples. It will leave you with tons of ideas to spice things up in a nutshell. Grab some notecards and write down fantasies you want to turn reality. Exchange them and put them in 4 piles hot. Let's do it not hot for me, but I will try it with you sounds hot, but let's talk more about it. Not hot ain't happening. Set a sexy date to get everything you will need to make your fantasies a reality by going to the adult store or stay at home with a bottle of wine and shop online. It can be a bit of foreplay as well. Just thinking about it while shopping will get you hot and bothered. Plus, having everything you need will make things much easier lol. Then set some dates, whether it be every 2 weeks, once a month, etc. Set a particular day that will become your fantasy fulfilled night. A few days before, pull a card from the hot let's do this and see what you guys have to prepare for. Once you get through those, you can go to the next pile. Then use the let's talk about it more pile to think of some new ideas. What supposedly fun and kinky things are more harmful to a relationship than people realize? Or is everything dependent on the strength of the relationship in the first place? I won't necessarily say that it depends on the strength of the relationship, although that does play a role. The stronger the relationship, the better the communication is, most of the time. The real problem happens when one individual, or individuals if in a polyamorous relationship, is not honest about their comfort level with a certain kink. They do it to please their partner or partners, but don't enjoy it. They may downright hate it, or find it degrading to either party. The more they do this, the more the other person thinks they must be into this as well, while they are really thinking, why am I doing this? Who is this person? This feels wrong. Kept to themselves, these thoughts will become toxic and the relationship will suffer. Before agreeing to anything, there must be a serious, it can be a bit playful, discussion about boundaries and what is acceptable / not acceptable safe words, as well as comfort level going into it. I'm not sure if I'm into it or comfortable with it, but I will give it a shot. After a scene, it's really important to follow up and check in. Was that comfortable for you? Was there anything that made you feel uneasy? Are there any concerns you have? Anything that you need to make it a more positive experience, etc. This will increase comfort and trust. It's important to really respect boundaries. When we feel our boundaries are respected, we are more comfortable expanding them. I'm 31 male and only had very bad sex once. Am I lost to society? This gives me a lot of insecurity when it comes to relationship, even though some beautiful women show interest towards me, because pretty much everyone expects you to be an experienced lover in that age. How do I even start? Honey, I don't know how to have sex. Can you teach me? You are not lost. The best sexual partner is an enthusiastic one. As long as you are eager to please, things will work out. And if you actually do say, can you teach me? You may be surprised at the positive reaction and lessons you will get. Have you ever analyzed the roots behind your own fetishes? I think people spend too much time trying to dissect the origin of their or their lover's fetish. If you enjoy something and it causes no harm, just enjoy it. Sometimes, fantasies and fetishes aren't that deep. Some have deep roots and some don't. I'm a big control freak, so I like to be submissive and be put in my place from time to time. The root of my kink behind submission is not that groundbreaking lol, it's actually pretty common. I do also enjoy the casual choke that might have some deeper roots lol, just haven't cared to go balls deep into figuring that one out lol. Have you ever seen a kink damage a relationship beyond repair? Yes, it can happen if two people have totally different mindsets when it comes to sex. Sexual compatibility is really important. When people don't get their needs met, after a while of suppressing those thoughts, they will act out. This can lead to infidelity, betrayal, loss of trust, etc. There is a difference between wants and needs. Needs are things that we simply cannot live without, no matter how hard we try. Some people need to feel dominant in the bedroom. If they don't get it from their relationship, they will have to get it from somewhere. I think having an open conversation about sex is crucial before getting into any relationship. People should know what they are getting into before they decide to be official. The most damaging thing is really the lack of communication and honesty. What steps would you suggest for a man or woman who has lost touch with their sexuality and wishes to re-engage with it? Figure out what caused you to lose touch in the first place. Was it an emotional or traumatic event? A physical limitation? A toxic relationship? Then allow yourself to break free from those chains and explore with yourself, re-explore your body, get to know yourself sexually all over again. Masturbate. Try different toys, watch some porn and find out what gets you going, and then just let yourself enjoy. Once you know what makes you tick, you can begin looking for someone to enjoy with. If you are still having problems, it could be hormonal or medical, so make sure to check with a doctor. If everything checks out okay, it's psychological and you might want to seek a therapist. Hope that helps. I see from your verification that you're a licensed counselor, but what does certified sex coach mean? Who is this certification authority, and why should I trust that this certification means anything? There are various ways you can get certified as a sex coach in many different ways, and with different specialities. A sex coach certification simply means that a person has gone through a program to learn more about sex. You could be a holistic sex coach, tantric sex coach, on and on and on. I chose to go with Dr. Avocadal's program as she is the sexologist I have admired for like ever, and I wanted some variation in my training, but at the same time I continue to get more formal continuing education credits related to sex as part of my ongoing licensing requirements and to obtain certification as a sexologist. Is there a method for women to have easier orgasms? Yes. First and foremost, women must learn how to give themselves orgasms. Everyone should take control of their own orgasm and feel confident verbalizing what they need with a partner. If she can learn how to give herself orgasms, she can teach her lover how to give her one as well. Everyone will orgasm differently. She may need more clitoral stimulation, more G-spot stimulation, anal stimulation, or all of the above. Triggerism. The more she finds out about herself, the better. Doing Kegel exercises will also help improve her orgasms. Do you think polyamory is wrong? What can we do to keep languages of origin separate? Is multiamory preferable over polyphilia? I do not think that polyamory is wrong. In general, I have worked with many polyamorous individuals and relationships that are all very well adjusted and really make it work. I think that it is wrong for some people. Everyone has to do what is right for them and not overthink semantics. The words don't matter to anyone else. If you love two people and they are down with it, great. If you want to have the occasional threesome with your consenting partner and someone else, do it. Call it whatever you like. Do you think gradual normalization of fetishes pushes people into weird as shit, or do you think people are just weird as shit to begin with? Ever since real porn got taken over by incest and cucking both my fiancé and I have been going 2D with no regrets. I'm sure it does for some people. Just with like any other thing, eating, sex, drugs, money. Some people find a healthy balance, and some just need more, to a fault. Since you're a professional, where do you think the line is between a simple weird fetish and something that indicates some kind of mental illness? The DSM-V, a diagnostic manual which professionals use to diagnose, in this case paraphilic disorders, has clear guidelines. In a nutshell, this fetish must cause some serious psychological distress and have a negative impact on aspects of their life, work, relationships, school, etc. If a person can engage in their kinks, not feel bad about it, and have the rest of their life in order, they are good to go lol. If the person has, say, a cuckold kink, and they ruin their relationship by talking about it, lose their job by watching cuckold porn all day, and feel so guilty about wanting to have their wife banged by some other guy that they can't function, there might be a disorder. What are the key things to look for when it comes to identifying a good sex coach / therapist, and what are red flags? Connection is everything. You will have to feel comfortable talking about some very intimate things. You want to make sure it's someone who you can be completely honest with without worrying about what they might think / etc. A red flag? This one is hard because I feel that most of the times it's not a bad therapist, but rather a bad fit. But I would stay away from anyone who will not offer a free consultation. In this consultation, if they don't really know the lingo of your particular interests, that would be a red flag. If you are into fisting and your sex coach is unfamiliar with the term rosebud, you might want to look elsewhere lol.